Hey everybody, it's Randall back with another video. What a week it's been so far. I mean, come on. We're what, Thursday? And so far Trump has called himself the King of Israel. He's invoked Henry Ford. And he's praised a guy on Twitter named Wayne Allen Root. There's a lot of to digest there. The King of Israel thing, I no idea what's going through his head there, and I don't even want to try to examine it. Wayne Allen Root. There's the tricky one. This is the guy that said Charlottesville was faked. He said that Heather Heyer never existed. She was a crisis actor. That's one of the conspiracies that he's thrown out there. And I've always found this whole crisis actor theory rather laughable. Why do I find it laughable? Because I'm an adult. All right? I'm not some 8-year-old who still believes in Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny. I'm a rational human being. Okay, that's why I don't buy into the whole crisis actor nonsense. Because let's take a look at this. Okay, let's just put our thinking caps on, ladies and gentlemen, and transgender folk alike. To stage a crisis, you're going to have people there. Okay, you don't think that someone's not going to come forward and say, yeah, that town never existed? Or people aren't going to look at a map and be like, wait a minute here, this doesn't say this place exists. The whole crisis actor thing is just some of the biggest nonsense ever put out there, and I think idiots like Ben Shapiro and Alex Jones for floating those things out there. Seriously, conspiracy that big, someone's going to spill. All right? Crisis actors, it's a myth. Just use your brain and you'll realize that. So you get people like Wayne Allen Root that try to float this stuff out there to get clickbait. And then you have Henry Ford. Now, for those of you who may not know the history of Henry Ford, I'm going to try to give you the Reader's Digest version. Henry Ford, yeah, he built Ford Motors. He was the king of the automobile industry. He also was an anti-Semite. He read Hitler's book Mein Kampf many times. There was conjecture that he would never allow anybody of Jewish heritage to be a salesman, that they all had to work in the plant. And if you wanted to be a salesman, you had to read Mein Kampf. If you did not read that book, Henry Ford would not let you join his sales force. Henry Ford often lavished praise on Adolf Hitler, despite what Hitler was doing. And that's somebody who Donald Trump has invoked as a great man. So, let's take a look at it. Proclaimed himself the King of Israel, and I really hope he was doing that tongue-in-cheek. He praised Wayne Allen Root, a man who believes in crisis actors. Yeah, you don't think somebody out there knew? I'm not going to get into it. And he praises Henry Ford, and you realize that he is doing this all as a distraction. All right? Economists are saying that the economy is bound for a recession. All right? And that's typically what happens when you give tax breaks to the rich. I mean, we've learned this many times. We learned this in the 20s with Hoover. We learned this again in the 80s with Reagan. We learned it again with Bush just 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And now we're repeating history again. Why? Because Republicans have this theory that if you don't tax the rich, they create jobs and they're going to give out more money, when actually they're just going to put it in their pockets or save it for their children to leave to them. But like I said, with Trump, you got to start wondering. People want to look at him as this crazed man, he's got Alzheimer's or dementia, which as somebody who's lost family members to dementia, I can tell you Donald Trump does not have that. All right. What he's doing is he's doing the same con game that he's been doing for well over 40 years now. When he gets in trouble, he distracts. He does something outlandish. He does something that's a little outside the box. So don't let yourself be fooled by his praise of an anti-Semite like Henry Ford. Don't be fooled by his praise of a guy named, Wayne Allen Root, who's a conspiracy theorist. And the King of Israel nonsense, don't be fooled by that. Look at his policies. Look at the policies that they've all failed. Every policy that he's tried to initiate has failed. And you focus on that for 2020. That's the goal. 2020 is the goal. Everything that Donald Trump is doing right now is simply a distraction. Don't take the bait. And I tell myself that, especially when I make these videos, I don't want to take the bait and then perpetuate what the game Donald Trump is trying to play. So, here's the thing. Like I said in my last video, I believe it's the last video, don't do this nonsense of if so-and-so's not the nominee, I'm going to write him in. No, no, no. What we got to do is we got to band together. Whether our candidate makes it or not, we got to band together. And we've got to end the fascist, tyrannical dictatorship of Donald Trump. That's all, folks. I'll see you next time. Have a good night and a better tomorrow.